Hey, View Storefront conference. Today we'll be talking about building headless commerce in minutes using View Storefront, Shopify, and Storeblock. So fasten your seatbelts and join me in this very fast ride today. My name is Jakub and I am a senior full-stack developer at View Storefront. And daily I'm working with Vue.js, Next.js, and Nest.js as well, so real full stack development. Apart from that, I'm also an ambassador in Next.js community and Storeblock, as you can see from this shirt. And recently also joined Adyen ambassador program. So what is exactly headless commerce? Headless commerce is a common term in software development, software architecture, where we are actually separating the UI, like the front end of our application, from the business logic, which is in this case the backend, like the e-commerce platform. And this approach guarantees even the most mature businesses the maneuverability and flexibility of a small startup. So if you look at this diagram, you could see that we are actually not only separating front end and the back end of our commerce, we are actually having an API layer in between that is allowing us to communicate between the front end and the back end. And we also have many different services or tools that we can connect our application. So the headless commerce that doesn't only mean to separate the front end and the back end, but we can also call it or name it when we have external services that are connecting to our application, no matter what e-commerce platform, no matter what front end do we have. So we can have a front end and the back end and then connect different payment, checkout systems, shopping carts, content management systems, which I will be talking more in the next slides. So if you look at this diagram, we might run into a conclusion that building headless commerce takes ages because we have many external services. We have this separated front end and the back end, and we can connect many tools, so it will probably take ages. However, it shouldn't be like that, and it's not like that, because we are using best of breed solutions. This is like the main approach or main advantage of using headless commerce, because by using it, we are actually picking the best possible solutions to build our commerce with it. And all these solutions most of the time provide a good integrations, good API documentation, a good API in general, which allows for very easy integration between the services. So first, we have the front end. And we have Vue Storefront, which I am working in, which is a lightning fast front-end platform for headless commerce. So what exactly does it mean that there is a front-end platform for headless commerce? So it means that we have a universal front-end with a very catchy UI system that is not only a front-end, but it also allows to very easily connect to external services like multiple e-commerce platforms or headless content management systems or payment gateways or even search engines or image like the digital asset management services like Cloudinary. So Vue Storefront allows you to connect to all these services, which is actually what headless commerce is about, to connect many different services and pick the one that suits your business needs best. So we have the front end. What about the back end? For today, we have Shopify. This is what I have selected for this presentation. So Shopify is one of the leaders in terms of the SaaS, like software as a service, e-commerce platforms that you can choose, with many shops built already with Shopify. So Shopify has few advantages like customizable templates that allow you to very easily create your website with these templates. However, it also allows you to connect an external service, external application. In this case, we will be connecting Vue Storefront to Shopify. Shopify is not only the e-commerce platform that can contain all your products, categories, and category trees and collections. It also allows you to have marketing and the payment as well. So by choosing Shopify, you actually choose not only the e-commerce, but also the payment, the marketing stuff. So you have all of that in one. And many users are using Shopify, that I mentioned previously in the previous slide, that there are many shops built with Shopify, which is actually a safe option to go with. And the third step is, in our today's presentation, is the content management system, CMS, the shortcut. So we have Storyblock, which is the world's first headless content management system that works for both developers and business users. So how does it work? If we have a headless CMS, what it does is that it allows us to connect our application to it, or the opposite, connect Storyblock to our application, so that by creating a content in Storyblock, we actually can embed this content in our website. It can be a website, it can be an online store, whatever you are doing, you can probably connect an external content management system to it. So how it works is that we are, for example, not technical person, like a marketer or a content creator, we can very easily create new content that will be available to our website. Because, for example, Storyblock and other content management systems provide it as well, so they have this kind of a visual editing experience, which allows you to very easily add new content by just providing some data like a name or title, so description, image URL, so that someone who doesn't have a technical knowledge can still create new content for your website. And let's also talk about the importance of content management system in e-commerce, because for sure we talked about Vue Storefront, which is the front-end platform, so your front-end of your store, and the platform which actually powers up your online shop. So what about the content management system? How does it work in this headless commerce architecture? So by having a headless CMS or content management system in general, what we can do with it is that we can very easily create and edit content. So imagine that your online store has a banner or some kind of promotion call to action. You can very easily, even not by being a technical person, you can very easily modify this banner or this call to action, giving it a new link or a new text or a new promotion. So it's very easy to do. And also what it does is that by having such a content management system, we don't rely fully on the developers. So to change content, we can just give access to a marketer or a content creator, and he will very easily add or edit or remove content from our website. So he can modify this call to action of the banner with a new link, with a new promotion description, and so on and so on. Apart from that, we also have a new channel for reaching potential customers, because there is a part of the market, like certain clients, who really like the content-driven e-commerce. So blog posts, introduction videos, tutorials, interviews, and so on, which can be very easily added to your website by using Headless content management system, and in this particular case by using Storyblock. And apart from that, apart from the fact that you can use it to create new content, edit, modify, delete content, it also allows your writers to work together, because most of these headless CMSs allow people to work together, to collaborate, to work in a group to find the best solution possible, or to find or create the best content possible. Okay, so now let's go into the demo, because I have also prepared something interesting for you. This is what we will build today. So this is like a screenshot from the Storyblock that I will explain in the next slides. However, we will have these 3 steps which I explained to you in the previous slides. So the front-end platform, which is the VSF, View Storefront. We have the e-commerce platform, which is Shopify. And I added an asterisk right after the Shopify name, because in this talk, I won't be diving that deep into the Shopify, because other speakers during this talk, during this conference, will be diving deep into creating a View Storefront with Shopify. So I will be focusing mainly on the 3rd step, which is the adding content management system to your e-commerce with Storyblock. In this talk, in this presentation, I will be also using Storefront UI, which is coming by default with View Storefront. And you can see this very nice looking design system that I showed in the previous slides. And I highly recommend you to try it out, because Storefront UI is a Vue.js based e-commerce library of components built especially for commerce. And in this particular case, we will be using the banner component. So we will be creating this kind of marketing, like call to action, that we have a new promotion, and if you like it, you can click here and you will be redirected to the certain promo page. So we will be using this kind of component. And if you are interested, you can go to storefrontui.io to see more of these components, because there's actually many of them, and they allow you to very easily speed up the development of your online store, as well as they provide many customizability options, so you can customize it to fit your needs. And also, if you get lost at some point of this presentation or this tutorial that I will show in the next slides, I have prepared a repository, GitHub repository, with the whole code that I will be explaining today, so that you can jump into it and play with it yourself. So vsf-shopify-storyblock-demo. Okay, so now let's jump into the code. First of all, we will create a View Storefront store by using View Storefront CLI, which is actually pretty handy. You only need to run the command npx View Storefront /CLI in it and give it a name of your project, in this case vsf-shopify-storyblock-demo, and choose the integration, which is the e-commerce platform that you will be building your online store with. So in this case we have many options, and I will choose the Shopify. But this example, this tutorial of how to add Storyblock to your online store, and also works in other e-commerce platforms. So if you choose Magento, that will be also discussed during our View Storefront conference, the approach of adding content management system to your online store will be the same, no matter if you choose Shopify, Magento, Venger, Commerce Tools, whatever. This approach is the same. So we'll be choosing Shopify, and we have a shop running. So I have recorded a video about it that you can also check out after this talk, which is about 2 minutes. So it's a bit fast. So for explaining each step of adding Storyblock to your online store, I will be making it a bit slower, like 0.5 speed, and I will be discussing each step individually. Okay, so the first step is that we have the Shopify store running. We can go to category page, pick a certain product page, and add product to cart, and we see that the classic regular Shopify store is working. So after that, what we will do is we will add a integration package by Vue Storefront for Storyblock, and also Storyblock-Vue package, which will allow us to very easily connect our online store to Storyblock. Okay, next step, we'll create a CMS directory in our root folder, and right after that, we will copy the special Storyblock component, maybe not Storyblock, render content component from the integration package that will allow us to very easily render content with this component that we will create in Storyblock. And we will copy this component into our CMS folder. Next step, we will create a banner.vue component that will be our wrapper for the Storefront UI banner component. So when we are looking at here, what we see is that we have the Storefront UI banner component with the certain props that the banner component accepts, and the names, like the props that banner.vue component will accept. And keep in mind that the names of the props here must be the same as the names you will pick in Storyblock. I will explain it later. However, make sure that the names and the approach of naming them, like banner underscore text, is exactly the same as the ones you will be using in Storyblock. It's very, very important. So we have the component registered, created, and then the next step will be to create a plugin to actually register this component. So we will create a cms.js file, and inside of it, we will register the new banner component that we previously created. And next step is to actually register the Storyblock integration in our application. So what we are doing here is in our middleware.config.js file, which is like the main configuration file for Vue Storefront, we are adding a new section next to Shopify, which is called SB, like Storyblock. We are defining the location, Vue Storefront/Storyblock package, and we are providing also a configuration, the token that we will get later, and we are also defining the cache provider. In this case, will be memory, the easiest approach. Okay, next, in our next.config.js file, we will be adding a new plugin, the one we created previously, cms.js file. And also, we will be registering or using as a raw source the package that we have previously installed for Vue Storefront, for Storyblock for Vue Storefront. So we can use it both in dev environment and the production environment. And the last step here will be to register also a module, like the Storyblock module, for the front-end part to work as expected. Okay, and that will be it for now in terms of the code. The last step will be also to add the Storyblock token, but we will also change it later to the one that will be created by Storyblock. So we will create a new space in Storyblock, and we will name it Vue Storefront Shopify Storyblock demo, the same as the name of the repository. And we will create a new component, the one that will be very similar to the Vue component that we have created. So we will name it banner, the same as the component created, and we will give it a props, title, subtitle, description. As I mentioned, it's very crucial to have the same naming convention here as the props that your banner component is receiving. Because Storyblok will be generating a JSON file with the names of your components, with the names of the props that the component should receive. So the naming must be the same in order for your components to work as expected. So you have the background, banner text, and the banner link as well. Next, we'll go to content and home, and we will configure Storyblok to work with our application. We will copy this token that will be used in our application instead of the previous one. And what we'll do next is we'll create a preview URL from the one created by Storyblok to HTTP localhost 3001, because this is actually where our application is running. And it won't work at first, because also what we need to add in this page is the actual URL, because Storyblok by default selects /home or the home, and we will add a slash to show it that the real path is just slash like the home. And we have our shop in Storyblok. So the next step would be to actually add this render content component into our pages. In our particular case, to home-view component. So we'll add this render content component, and we'll pass into it as a content the body that we will receive from Storyblok. Apart from that, we also import the use content composable from the Storyblok package and the render content component that we have copied recently from the Storyblok package. Next, we will call the use content with the string name of home, because we will be getting the content from the page called home, and we are structuring two things: the search method and the content that will be fetched from Storyblok. And as a body, we will have the computed value of the content.value.body. Pretty simple. And next, in onSSR method, that is called on the server side, we will also search for the URL, certain URL. In our case, will be home. And we also add a cache validation. We will set it up to something really small, so that we could very easily observe the changes, because Storyblok will cache the result so that it won't be re-rendered each time we are calling the service. So by adding a parameter for cache validation, we can actually see the results of how we will change the content. In the production, make sure to remove it. And next, in the return of the setup function, we will also return the body and render content. And what will happen right now is that when we create a component in Storyblok called banner and we fill it with some data, we'll actually be able to see the new component in our application, the component that we as developers have not created it. So when we refresh the page, we see the biggest promo ever banner. And what is interesting about it is that we can very easily make more components, because we have created one, but we can easily copy and paste it, just like I did here. So when we refresh the page, we will see that we have two components already. And we can also modify them. Let's say second biggest promo ever. When we save, publish, and refresh the page, we will see new content created. And also, when we refresh our store, we also see the changes right there. And that's actually it, how to integrate Storyblok in your Vue Storefront store. However, what I showed you here is mainly about manually creating content, like a call to action or banner or promotion, offer, something like that. And what about the actual e-commerce stuff? Because we are actually importing or integrating Headless content management system into our online store. So Storyblok offers an interesting feature called field type or a plugin for partners. And how does it work? Is that it allows you to connect to your e-commerce platform, like Shopify, or in this example to BigCommerce, and fetch product categories directly from your platform, so that by using content management system like Storyblok, you can very easily add a content that is directly served from your e-commerce platform. So you can, for example, create a carousel of products just by going into Storyblok and adding the products that are fetched from your e-commerce platform. Okay, so if you liked the experience of the storefront, of the shop that I showed you, and the integration itself with Storyblok and Shopify, make sure to drop a star to View Storefront. And that will be it. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you learned something interesting. And if you like, make sure to follow me on Twitter, where I'm sharing interesting content such as this one, and my GitHub as well, Baroshem, where you will see the code example of this talk. And yeah, thanks for joining me today, and see you next time. Bye.